If you've got debt and want a plan to pay it off, then this video is for you. If you're like me, a mom, a very busy mom with lots of things happening, having debt adds on to your worries. Now, there is a case to be made about using debt for leverage, but if you have a debt over 8, 10%, or in the double digits, you're not leveraging money, you are hemorrhaging it, which means your hard earned income, hard earned money that you're sacrificing time for, away from your children, away from your family, is instead going into interest and not to the things that you actually want to do and buy. So in this video, we are going to jump into using this free tool to help you figure out your debt payoff plan. Whether you have credit card debt, a car loan, other personal debt, or student loans, we want to make sure you have a plan to pay it all off so that that's one less thing you have to worry about. And that also means more money available for your monthly spending. Thanks for joining me today. My name is Catherine Agupjan, and here at Sisters for Financial Independence, we talk money and motherhood. Now, we've chosen this particular free tool because one, it's free, and two, it's simple to use. When you don't have a lot of time, you want to get right into debt paying as opposed to learning a new tool or learning a new technology to help you with managing your money. So let's jump into this free tool so that we can get started and have a plan in place to pay down our debts. So this free calculator provided for you by Vertex 42. Vertex 42 provides a lot of excellent templates that you can use to manage your life better. They include Excel templates, calendars, charts, calculators, and so much more. So if you're looking for something like that, take a look at what they have. A lot of them are free, but you can upgrade to get certain features. Now for this debt reduction calculator tutorial, the link for this particular calculator will be in the description, and we are going to that right away. Now they do provide two options for the debt reduction calculator, one for Excel and one for Google Sheets. I am a fan of Google Sheets. It's quick, easy. You know that your file is on the cloud. You can access it anywhere, and you can make multiple copies as you see fit. Now for this free version, it includes up to 10 creditors. I think it's good for a lot of people, but if you do want the one that has a version for 20 to 40 creditors, you can upgrade for that particular template instead. So let's go ahead and click on Google Sheets in this case, and it is going to take us to the template. Once we click on the template, it will take us to the Google Sheets template, which is very straightforward, but I will go through an explanation of this. They also have their own tutorial if you also want to watch that, so you can see what that looks like. Now, once you see the template, you will want to use the Use Template button so that you create a copy of your own. So you have one for your needs, and it will save to Google Drive. Let's go ahead and do that, and it will bring us to our very own template. So this is one that we can modify and we can set up for our own needs. Now I have pre-populated one that we can use with examples of creditors, balances, and rates. I'm going to jump into that so we can work off of that particular sample of my debt reduction plan and calculator. And I've titled it as such that so that it's easier for me to find. I've also included the date from when I am doing this so that you have a snapshot in time of all of your debt. And what you will do is list all of your creditors, from your credit card, for car, student loans, etc., the balance, the rates, as well as the minimum payment amounts. And what it will give you is the total of your debt as well as the total of your minimum monthly payment. So you must have this in your budget to pay down your debt. Any less, it means you're not paying the minimum, and you will get charged fees as well as get a ding on your credit history and your credit score. Now, this calculator already has built-in formulas, so it's easy for you to choose what you want. Now, I've just used the strategy here for no snowball. So under the strategy are your options on how you want to pay down your debt. There are actually a few ways for you to pay down debt depending on what gets you motivated, what kind of accountability needs you need as a person. No snowball means you're just doing the minimum. As long as you do not add on to your debt, if you pay the minimum, you can pay off your debt, but it will take time. And if you have high interest debt, it means most of your money will be going to interest instead of actually going to the principal. Now, let's work through some of the scenarios and strategies available for you when it comes to paying down debt. Now, we worked with this with the no snowball, so you're not doing anything. And you will see in this template the order of the creditors that you will pay, how long it will take you to pay off, and when you will be free of that debt, which provides you in your mind a deadline, a goal, so that you can celebrate or at least have something to look forward to when this line item is gone from your budgets and from your total credit reduction plan. But now we want to be aggressive. We want to be aggressive because especially in 2023, if you're watching this, 2023, 2024, interest rates are rising, which means if you have credit card debt, your credit card interest rates are rising, and that means you will owe more money over time, and those are not fixed. Those are variables, so they're constantly going to change. If you've got a car loan that you took on a few years ago, that will probably have a fixed loan, so you may not have to worry as much about that. But if you are going to take on a new car loan today, you will be paying high interest. If you are going to take on student loans for September or next year, those are also going to have high interest. So you just want to be aware of that because it is your future self that will be paying for this debt. So let's get to some of the other strategies that we have here. Let's work with the snowball strategy first. And in this method, you actually pay the lowest balance first. Because we want to be aggressive, what will happen is that you are going to take any extra money you have in your budget and you are going to put that on the credit card or this loan that has the lowest balance first. So in this case, we will be putting it into the Amex. Now say we have an extra $50 to put into our debt. So we would take that extra $50, add it on to all of the other minimum payments we have, and we will now have $500 going into debt, and now we will be taking that extra $50 to pay into Amex. So let's look at some of the numbers to see how it changes. Amex is our first debt that we're going to pay off because it has the lowest balance. So in this case, we will have it paid off by June 2025, and it will go through the next item, Capital One, Honda, and student loan. So you'll see the dates progress from here. Now from here, say we have an extra $50 that we want to also put into debt. So let's change this to $550. Now, before I change that, notice your payoff date here for Amex is June 2025. 2 and 2 months, years to pay it off, as well as $460 in interest that you will pay. Let's add $50 more to that and see what it changes. So now we've moved up our date of the payoff from June 2025 to September 2024. So you're a few months earlier. You're now taking less time to pay it off, and you're now paying less interest. So this is where the snowball strategy comes. Once you pay off this balance, your smallest balance, the minimum that you have been paying on this particular loan will now go to paying Capital One, to the next loan, and then once this is finished, it will now take this minimum and any other extra to pay this and that. So that's where the snowball comes in. Now, the other method that's also popular is called the avalanche. And what you will do is pay the highest interest first. And there's really, depending on, again, your accountability needs, you can either do snowball or avalanche. For some people, they want to see that low balance clear and be eliminated quickly and can motivate you to keep going. For the avalanche, it's all about the math, the high interest rate. So you want to pay down that quickly so you're not putting a lot of money into interest. So let's do avalanche for this one. So it'll be Capital One that we will focus on at a 20% rate. So now we have the same money, $550 in monthly payments. So $100 will now go into the Capital One option. Notice that it also rearranged your creditors here because now we're focusing on Capital One with the high 20% of interest, and then Amex will be next at 18%. So you see that change, and it has you paying this off at January 2025 and so forth for the other loans. You'll see that all when it calculates, which is amazing. Now, I also just want you to see the difference in total interest paid here. So here, for the avalanche method, we would be paying a total of $3,932.28. And you would have paid off all of this by May 2028. If we just switch back to our snowball, our difference is $4,069. So around $100 we'll be paying extra in debt, but we'd also be paying around the same time. So it really depends what your loans are, what your needs are, especially when it comes to accountability and motivation of how to get this paid off. Let's now go into this payment schedule, which allows you to see how your balance changes over time as you schedule these payments out. So your first priority for this one, which is the snowball method, was Amex. So you'll see all of your payments here. And then once you are close to closing this out, you'll see that it's moved that amount to your next debt. So you'll see it move towards, and you can see all of the line items as far as month and year to see your debt go down and finally be at zero. So it's a pretty cool thing to see. And if you want to modify it, say you have an extra $10 that you are going to put towards this debt for this particular month, maybe you made some extra money, you can do that and you can see how it adjusts your balance. And again, this tool is free, so I love it for that fact, and it's also fairly simple to use, and you can always constantly look at it and update it as you see fit. So I hope this has been helpful for you to take a look at your debts and figure out a plan to pay it off. You can also click on the Help tab to the right to get some more information about how to use this tool. They also explain the debt reduction strategies that they've listed, so you can find one that fits you, that fits your motivation and accountability needs. I hope this video has been helpful. Give it a thumbs up if you found it valuable, and consider sharing it with a friend so they can also create a debt payoff plan for themselves, which will free up their money as well as free up the worry that comes with debt. If you need help with your monthly budget, I'd recommend you check out this video where we walk through creating an annual budget or an annual spending plan. And if you need help with investing, check out this video where you can learn how to create financial security for yourself and your family. And I will see you next week for the next video. Bye!